Talking love so bright under the studio lights. Dating tips galore, they're never a bore. Laughing till we're sore, tuning in for more. Love in black and white, they keep it loose and tight. Putting love back in sight with every funny bite. Relationships they break, from real to all that's fake. These guys never flake, always make you stay awake. Love in black and white, Carlos J take flight. Keep your love in mind so right, every single night. Through laughter, tears and fears, they've gotten us for years. With jokes and all that's dear, our love's clear. Through laughter, tears and fears, they've gotten us for years. With jokes and all that's dear, our love's clear.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Love in Black and White, where each week we try and put the love back in you right. I'm one of your hosts, Big Irish J. Hollingsworth, and we have the co-host, the part-time famous, full-time funny, Carlos Anthony.
Y'all up in here. What's happening?
I hear you, but you're not going through the mic. I think it's, and that might have been because it's because I fucking had you do all this shit. Let's give a shout while you're fixing that. I'll give a shout out to Crazy Cutie. Carlos is in there, and Victoria and Sandy, I think's in here. Maybe hidden. Is
that better?
Much better. That was my fault, Carlos. I was on mute, and so I was sitting there telling Carlos, I was like, "Can you hear me?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I can't hear you," but there's fucking little volume thing. So
now we in the game now.
I know. And we were gonna go over stalker stories, stalker / possessive exes. And I have a few. I got a few of them.
Oh, okay. That's how you putting it down.
I don't know about that. Maybe they just.
We got to go ahead and we got to find out what you're doing at all times.
Maybe they're just crazy, you know. No, so. Well, one, it's crazy too. Like, well, I'll just say tell the story, and you guys can take from it what you want. But I was going to say how women can weaponize, or I'll just tell you the story. So there was a girl that I had met, and we had been on a couple of dates, and I was doing my Hollingsworthless Halloween podcast. We were at what up, Sanders? We were at the Queen Mary. We were spending the night in the Queen Mary. It was me and a bunch of my other buddies, and this girl had gotten drunk. She was hammered. I don't know where she was. She was at home or wherever. She was fucking hammered. And so I'm doing a live stream on my phone, right? And I'm live streaming this Hollingsworthless podcast and the Halloween version and stuff. So she starts, she's like texting me, and I reply to her text. I go, "Hey, I'm doing this thing." I was like, "I can't really talk right now. I'll call you later, but I'm going to be doing this for the next couple hours." And then she's like, texting me again. I'm like, "I can't talk right now. The dogs are in here going crazy. Get out of here, dogs." I said I can't talk. So then she starts calling me, and I'm like, "Bro." So she called me like back to back multiple times, and I keep sending her a voicemail. So then I had to fucking block her in the middle of this thing because I'm trying to do this thing, right? Like, and I'm giving like a quick word, but it like kept building up where I'm getting more and more pissed, and she's fucking keeps calling and keeps being annoying as fuck. So like the next day, I was still pissed, and she was like, "Oh, remind me never to do Red Bull and vodka or something." I'm like, you can do it as much as you want because I'm not going to be around it. And so what up? But we're telling Stalker and Crazy X's stories today. So anyways, when I said that, she was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I can't be around people that can't handle their alcohol. My dad was a big time drinker, and he was like, he wasn't like an abusive drunk or anything like that. He was a happy drunk, but I just it takes me back to, like, I remember as a kid, my pops coming home drunk from the bar, and again, he didn't beat me or for the most part, it wasn't like verbally abusive or anything like that. But I just, you see in your parents, some of you love that in a, not in at their best, so to speak. Right. So anytime I'm around somebody that can't handle their alcohol, it takes me back to that feeling, and I don't like it. So I told her, I was like, yeah, I was like, you can drink as much as you want, because I'm not going to be hanging out with you anymore, because you fucking, I told you I was trying to do this thing, and you're trying to fuck it up. And I don't know if you thought you were being funny or what. So kept escalating, she kept saying, oh, no, and blah, blah, blah. And why are you freaking out? And I was like, nah, I'm cool. It's cool. We had a good run, whatever. Right.
The ship has sailed.
Yeah. So she says, in the buildup, she's like, well, I think that's fucked up, and and blah blah blah. And then she gets to the point. She goes, well, I'm going to tell everybody what you did to me. Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean? Dropped you off?
Exactly.
I left you. What can you say?
I think prior to her saying that, let me back up, because I think prior to her saying that, I told her, I was like, quit fucking calling me, quit texting me, because I told her, like, I'm good. We're not gonna hang out no more. And she kept escalating. And I was like, I said, I go, if you keep, I'm gonna have to block you, like, on everything, right. And then that's when she said, well, I can't believe you're reacting like this. I'm gonna tell everybody what you did to me. and I mean, that could have all kinds of, I mean, I didn't do anything to her other than just tell her I didn't want to fucking hang out with her after she was a lush. And so then she said, I think I said at that point, I go, this will be my last text to you. I'm blocking you. I won't be talking to you anymore. I've screenshotted all this shit, that all these texts. So the next contact you make with me will be me with the police, because this shit is getting crazy, and also I got to protect myself. I just on my Google Drive saw the other day, I still have those text messages.
Yes, indeed.
I'm actually, maybe I'll bring those up on the next show. We can go over them together.
There you go. We can break this down. So what is this thing she was alleging that you did to her?
Well,
she never told you?
No, I think she definitely chose those words to be like, wait, what? But right? I didn't do anything. The only thing that right. The only thing she could say I did is that, like we had dated or whatever, and we weren't in like a committed relationship or anything. We had hooked up or whatever, but the only thing she could say is that we had hooked up, but it wasn't like this was like we hooked up and I go, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. It was because she was a fucking drunk. This was days after we had hooked up or whatever. So I don't know what she was. She knew a guy that I wrote with, a writer comedian that we wrote on a game show together, and she knew this guy, and he told me later, he's like, oh yeah, she's fucking nuts. I'm like, well, that'd been nice to know ahead of time.
Yeah, good, thank me for the warning ahead of time, player.
Give me the heads up. But right. Yeah, the only thing she could say I did to her was that we had hooked up, and then I kicked her to the curb. But I kicked her to the curb because she was a fucking lush. It wasn't like I hooked up. I was like, okay, cool, thanks. I never want to talk to you again. It was her being a fucking dummy and an asshole.
Like you said, though, she picked those are very eye-opening words. You say some shit like that, you like, wait a minute now, what are you talking about now? Because this is gonna go south real quick. On both ends, it's gonna go south real quick, or can. So no, you're not gonna put me in no position where you jeopardizing my future. Now we got those are fighting words.
Yep, dude. And then that I don't know if I have told it on here. The story that I told at Sacramento at Laughs Unlimited, that when the fucking
yeah.
I might tell that but she wasn't really like crazy except for that night, but it's because of the stuff that happened. But I have other stories, but I wanted to see if you had one you can share. Look, by the way, we're wearing the same colors. We didn't even fucking schedule that.
I have none. I don't have any. I don't
Except for
have
your neighbor now.
outside of his neighbor. This really, and it's I guess that's a good thing. I've had exes that have obviously wanted to double back, but never anything. Why'd you make me big?
I can't tell you why. I'll tell you why in a second. Hold on, keep going. You're just gonna see this.
Yeah.
Or you'll see.
Yeah, I've never had it. Yeah, I've never. What the fuck is going on here?
I'll explain in a sec. Hold on.
Yeah, okay. I've had some exes double back, but I haven't had anybody sitting in bushes or threatening me to do anything that I can really remember. I can't even talk today. I can't remember. So I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what I was doing. So for the listeners, I had to get off screen for a second because I ate something and I could feel a little piece of food here, so I had to duck down to floss real quick with this little, you can't see it, it's a green piece of paper, and I didn't want to do it on camera and be disgusting, so I thought I would just tell you disgustingly. We're brothers. We're happy.
That's crazy. Let's be honest. Hold on. How can I even word this? I've never been that guy that treated anybody wrong. And so I think whenever I broke up with somebody, they began to realize that, hey, I wasn't that bad as you tried to make me out to be. So then it's almost like, hey, well, shoot, let me see if we can rekindle this. And I think we talked about it on the last show. I'm very, very mental first. Like, I don't give a damn about the physical. I do give a damn about the physical, but that's not the main point of me being with somebody. So when I shut it down mentally, I'm gone. So you can't double back after I mentally check out. So yeah, I've had a few be like, oh no, let's see if we can't make this work out again. No, you didn't miss that window of opportunity. It's over now.
That's funny you say that, because I've always said it's physical that attracts you, it's mental that keeps you.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. And then unless you're one of these young boys again that's out here just trying to smash and dash, then for the most part, then yeah, it means something until it don't.
Right. And we have way too much wisdom for that.
Right. Well, we got way too much. We beyond that.
Let's
be honest. I'm not opposed to it, but I get it's too much shit involved now at this stage in the game. It's too much shit. Then you get shit like you just talked about, where you're like, I'm gonna say you did something. No, you're not. If you start messing with my career and the things that I'm trying to build, then those are we're gonna take this to a whole nother level.
And actually, since if you don't have any others, and for the people in here, it's going to be kind of a short one today. I should have said that up front, but sorry, we're only going to do about 30 minutes because Carlos has a show. So but he's dedicated and he came in for the 30. He's like, I can bust out 30.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if for the viewers that are here, have I told the story about? This is going to be shocking the way I set this up. Just know, but let me tell, and don't fucking just cut this part I'm about to say and leave it at that. You have to hear the whole story. But have I told on here the story about when the girl accused me of rape? Or said I might be charged with rape? I should say it that's how I should say it, right?
Yeah, you might be charged with. Yeah,
this is the longest wait for people to respond.
Crazy that is to be like, hey, they might come around and they might say,
don't say anything if they haven't heard the story, because So, okay. Sandy said what, and Sandy would probably know if I had said it on this. Okay, so perfect. So now, don't just cut that little part. The Satan worshiper, Jay. What? The Satan worshiper. No. That was no. Okay, so here's the story.
What? We'll get back to that on another episode. The Satan worshiper.
Yeah, that was a girl I was about to hook up with, but I can just tell you really quick. I laid back in her bed. She had like all this cool art in her living room, and we go in her bedroom. It's kind of dark. I laid back in her bed, and on the wall right here was a painted black like goat's skull. And I was like, is there a fucking pentagram underneath us? I'm like, I'm cool. I mean, I'm not like the most religious person, but that I was like,
Yeah,
what the
no.
fuck's about to happen in here?
You
Okay,
was about
so
to be the sacrifice.
yeah, so I was like, nope. Okay, so here's this story, and this will probably take up most of the time. So this was I was living in Seattle. I went to Nate Jackson had a show in Tacoma, so I go down to the show in Tacoma, and I don't think I was on the show. I was just hanging out, and I saw this pretty filly over at the bar. So I go up and I start flirting with her and everything, and I had seen her at the show, and she was with I think a few people, but there was like one guy in particular that it looked like she was there with. So as I'm like talking to her, flirting with her, I'm like, "Oh, is that your man or whatever?" She's like, "Oh, no, I'm in the military. He's in the military. He's just a friend." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." We keep talking, and I was like, "Hey, you want to go back to my place?" And I'm giving you the quick version. It was probably much smoother than that. Like, "Hey, girl, what's your name? Is
Yeah,
you want to go back to my place?" So
Ah.
so she was like, "Yeah." So we're driving from Tacoma to my apartment in West Seattle, excuse me, in West Seattle. Manny was my roommate at the time. And but Manny wasn't home. So, anyways, this drive, it's about a 30-minute drive. So as we're driving to the apartment, everything's chill in the car. We're not holding hands, nothing. We're just talking, but it's chill. Like, she seems chill, cool, whatever. Oh, okay. Victoria said we have told it, or I have told it, but maybe it's on the HWP. Okay, so knowing she had no, Sandy, she did not have a man. It was her friend that was in the military. I was flirting with her thinking she may have a man, but I didn't know if she had a man. And if she'd been like, "Oh, that's my man," I'd be like, "Okay, cool. You're very beautiful. Take it as a
No,
compliment."
fuck you, man. You can have friends.
Yeah, I know. So again, so we're driving back to the apartment, and we haven't kissed, we haven't even touched, like not holding hands or anything in the car. So we get to the apartment. Now the way the apartment is set up, me and Manny's old apartment, is as you walk in, like straight ahead is my bedroom, and then or you can go right into the living room. So we walk in, and I'm in the bedroom. I'm sitting on my bed, and she's standing, and the lights are on in my bedroom, but nowhere else. So literally, we just walked in, and she says to me, she goes, "Do you have Wi-Fi?" And I said, I was like, "Yeah." So my first thought was like, "Oh, she wants to get on the Wi-Fi for some reason." I was like, "Okay." She goes, "Do you have Wi-Fi?" I said, "Yes." And then she says, "Oh, you might want to turn that off." And I go, "What?" Carlos heard this story, me telling it on stage to a bunch of fucking crowd audience that was like, "Where the fuck is this story going?"
It was
Because I started it the same way. I was like, "Well, this is a story about when I was accused of rape." Okay, and so she goes, "You might want to turn the Wi-Fi off." And I was like, "What?" I go, "Why is that?" And she goes, "Well, I can't tell you what I do in the military, but I'm pretty high up in the military, and I can't tell you what I'm doing, but they're like definitely like listening to us." And so I'm like, "Okay." Again, yeah, no, yeah, dude. Well, we never even got to beep because we haven't even touched again. And she's standing, she's at like the door, and I'm on the bed, and I go, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, I can't tell you what I do, but I'm pretty high up in the military, and they like monitor because I'm so, I have a clearance and everything, so they're monitoring me right now, and so they're probably, listening to us." And I was like, "Okay." So in my head, I'm like, "Fucking cuckoo," right? She gets a phone call. She as she answers the call, she walks into my living room that's black. It's like dark, there's no lights on. It's pitch black or whatever. And I'm in my bedroom just going, like, looking around and I'm like, "What in the fuck is this chick talking about?" Right? So so I'm in the bedroom thinking this lady's crazy, and she's in the living room, and now she's on the phone, and I don't know for sure, but it sounds to me like she's bouncing in between speaking English, Russian, and German. Like, just like one moment she'll sound like dos vadanhos, and then the next like ein, zwei, ein, zwei, and and then the next is in English. And so now my brain is like, is this chick legit? Like, fuck, maybe she's like a fucking spy. What the fuck is happening? I'm like literally like looking out my window, like, is there going to be a laser dot just fucking marked on me?
Little
I
black
don't know what the fuck is going
vehicle
on.
sitting outside.
Yeah, so now I'm going from team cuckoo to now team maybe she's legit. She goes through this conversation, hangs up the phone, and I can see her in the living room where it's pitch black. And then after she hangs up the phone, she looks up at the ceiling and goes, "I'm here. I'm right here. I'm here." So now I'm like, oh, we're back on team cuckoo. She's fucking nuts, right? So now she walks back into the room again. She's at the doorway. This whole time I have not moved from the bed, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So Sandy, she just looked at the roof and just goes, "I'm here. I'm right here."
She's talking to the Lord.
Yeah, maybe. So your was my Sandy. Like, huh? What?
Jesus,
So
is that you?
yeah. So she walks back to the doorway. She says, she goes, is there like a gas station around here? And I was like, yeah, there's one like 2 blocks down. Gets on the phone, she calls somebody speaking English, and she's like, there's one 2 blocks down. I blah 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 blah. Hangs up the phone, and she says to me, she goes, yeah, so that was the military police, and I have to go meet them now at that gas station. And I was like, cool. No problem. So
Yes,
she's
indeed.
like, I go, it's just right down there. So she's getting, like, not getting her stuff together. She's just getting ready to go. She walks to the door, opens the door, and as she's opening the door, she stops before she walks out. And I'm just waiting for her to get the fuck out because I'm like, this chick's crazy. She's in the doorway, door open, and she looks back at me and she goes, "Hey, just so you know, you might be in trouble." And I go, "In trouble? Why would I be in trouble? What the fuck are you talking about? Why am I in trouble?" She goes, "Again, I can't say what I do, and I'm pretty high up in the military, but because I left and my friend went back to the base and I wasn't with him, like I'm considered missing, and so that was the military police that was calling me, and so." You might be in trouble, and you might be accused of rape.
That shit escalated quickly. Not kidnapping.
Yeah, I'm like, can we start with like fucking jaywalking or something?
Right.
Or just to fucking jump to rape? What? And I'm like, I go, I actually, I don't think I even said it. I just go, I think I said something like, what or huh? And then she's like, I gotta go. And so she leaves, and I'm fucking looking out the blinds, watching her go down the stairs, and she's walking these 2 blocks towards, and that, like, you have to go down a hill, and then it's a little bit of a walk, but she's walking towards a thing. And again, I'm like looking, I'm like, is there fucking anything out here? So I immediately called my buddy Sean, and who at the time he lived like about a mile or 2 from me, and I'm like, dude, are you at home? And he's like, yeah. I go, dude, can I come over? I'm fucking freaking out. I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. He's like, yeah, whatever. So I go over to his place. I tell him the whole story. Oh, but this is the other thing. As I'm going to his place, I go by that back that gas station. Yeah, you were jaywalking in her eyes, crazy said. As I go by that gas station, I see her, and sure enough, I see like it looks like an unmarked police car, but I'm assuming it's like a military car, pulls up, and she gets into it. And then I kept going, and I go to Sean's. Here's where Sean could be my friend. Yeah. So that's how the night ended, with me with this just in the ether that I might get accused of rape of a girl I did not even touch. Right. So the next day she messages me on Facebook, and she said, she goes, hey, if I was a little weird last night, I should apologize. She goes, I went to the hospital, and when she was at the show, she got drugged by somebody or someone. I don't know if it was like a date rape drug or what, but she never like passed out. She was fucking loopy. And so she apologized. And I was like, oh, thank you for letting me know.
Right.
Thank you for putting it in writing. I am going to screen capture this page and know that you were fucking out of your mind last night. Okay. And then I immediately was, I think I blocked her or unfriended her or whatever. That was my first and only time. Oh, sorry, Rinks. I didn't mean to hit you. That was my first and only time talking to this chick, and I was like, it was terrifying though. It was fucking
Uh,
terrifying.
as we've learned, ladies and gentlemen, here on Love in Black and White, I don't have any stories near this. I don't have any stories remotely
Oh
near
my
this. Like
god.
not a one. So now I got to ratchet up my my game here. Maybe I'll get my neighbor to do something crazy.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you about on the next episode. I'm gonna put it in our notes so I don't forget. When and dude, a lot of this stuff is not my fault. Like that's not my fault. The fucking chick that kept calling me when she was drunk, that's not my fault. And this story, the only teaser I'll give you is when I was did she, I don't know if she went to HR. A girl, I'm trying not to give away the the lead on the story, but a girl I worked with, I think she went to HR and felt like I was harassing her. But that's all I'm going to say. But know that it's about the equivalent of like this story about me being accused of rape, and how it's not that at all. And I'll tell that on the
Buddy.
next story. But Sandy wanted to say, Sandy hit me up and she wanted to say something real quick, that I'll highlight it. And then we can wrap it up. Sandy, you want to do your spiel as she's typing it? Hopefully here. I'm writing down the notes. Tell the story of the at, I can't say the company, but it rhymes with Horizon.
Okay. While we do wait, yeah, I did. Once again, I'm starting to see this woman a lot more frequently next door. I saw what's today? Wednesday? Today was Monday when I was coming to the show on Monday night. And she was sitting with a group of people. She was like, "Hey, why don't you come hang out with us?" And I'm standing there and she says, "Y'all, this is my boo." And I said, "So
You
who
should
you
have been
talking?"
like, you must be talking about a Casper,
Yeah,
and
no, I said,
Casper booing you.
"No."
There's some ghost because it ain't me.
And it's funny because my neighbor across the hall, that dude is cool. He saw me do like this, like, mm-mm. And he just kind of laughed. And I was like, no, I ain't got nothing to do with this. I was like, but yeah, that fucking shit's fucking weirdo. Like, you don't act like again, where is this shit going? What's the end game here? I don't know.
Fucking weirdo. Sandy wanted to just remind everybody, and as I'll quote her, regardless is your affiliation, regardless of your affiliation, please vote. Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. Again,
Yeah, this shit is
whoever
getting
you
crazy
want to
out
vote
here.
for. Yes. And it was nice. Sandy hit me up. She was like, "Hey, I didn't want to just, you know, bogart your podcast," but she was like, I just want to, is it cool if I just remind people to vote? I was like, yeah, of course, no problem.
No,
Sandy, you're part of the fam.
absolutely. And this is one of those times where I think it's important, even if I don't know, I don't, like you said, regardless of your affiliation, it really doesn't matter. But I think you should vote the correct way.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
White
I
ain't
don't know.
always right.
Right, man.
Yeah.
Listen,
But I think, and I think I can speak for Carlos on this too. And I've said it before. Whoever I obviously who me and Carlos are voting for, but whoever you vote for, it's not going to affect our friendship, unless you make it that. Because like I have friends that I have buddies that are Trump supporters and stuff. They're just not crazy. I mean, they're that's they have their reasons, and I don't necessarily agree with them, but I'm still friends with them. But now if I'm trying to think, I'm sure there's some people that I don't know. I don't really have a lot of friends that are fucking psychos about either way, because it's just probably wouldn't, our personalities probably wouldn't mesh, whatever, however you are, but yes, vote. Please make sure you vote. All right, what do you want to plug, Carlito.
Well, I'm headed to the LA Comedy Club right now, and I think I have another show with them before the end of the week, and I'm also doing the late show at Jimmy Kimmel's on Saturday. I forgot completely about that. The next week I'm in at Stir Crazy. That's Friday and Saturday. Sandy J.
Oh shit, Sandy, you got to go see it.
Yeah, so come check me out. Parttimefamous.com. Check it out. We got some shit going down.
Yes, and I will. Let's see here. Tomorrow I will be at Taps and Barrels. I got Tommy Wires the spot.
I may try to come to that too.
All right, dope. That's Matt Cole's show at here in Las Vegas. Taps and Barrels at Taps and Barrels. Friday I'll be in Fair Oaks, California, by Sacramento, doing Comedy Under the Stars. You can go to bigirisj.com for tickets. Coming up, I'll be in Chicago or Oak Park September 6th, 7th. Just go to bigirisj.com for tickets. And until next week, we'll keep trying to put the love back in you right. All right. Bye.
Send those questions in. Send those questions in.
Oh, yeah. lbwpod@gmail.com. lbwpod@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. Bye.